Hey, this is Automat live coding, and introduce what we're doing here as well. So we're writing Automat. Maybe I can start it from here. We are writing an environment for automatically playing games, and maybe more. One component of this environment, in addition to pressing mouse buttons, keyboard buttons, is logic. This is why we have those built-in cards that contain instructions. And we've spent the past couple of weeks working on improving them, specifically the conditional instructions. There are very few of them, just a couple really. They are super important. I don't mean jumps, I mean conditional moves. Conditional moves and jumps. Now we have this new widget here that we can use to select different conditions. Some conditions have animated effects, like the overflow. Yeah, when we have overflow, it actually overflows. We also have wave. It moves around when we move the card. And it disappears when it's gone. So the dial here of this button, it actually represents a gauge of an analog weight. So if you have an analog weight with a scale with two plates, when you put something on one plate, it causes the dial to bend clockwise, and on the other plate, it causes the dial to bend counterclockwise. This is how scales work, right? We are using the same scales metaphor for adding and subtracting numbers. I mean, not yet. We're just using this in conditions, but ideally what do we have? Ideally the math. For example, this stuff like this, where we add two numbers. This will be represented as a scale. So we are putting those two values on a scale, and the output is being written out into another register. Anyway, we have this widget already works. So we actually have been successful during the last stream. So we can scroll it in any direction, up and down, left and right, and we can even do circles. When we do circles, you can see that the symbols twist. It's easy to straighten it. Okay. So, the plan for today . I have some points, some loose points about things that we could do. One thing is that we have a crash. So some conditions, some instructions, like this one, it has a condition here, right? But we cannot change it. If we change it, it just crashes Automat. By the way, okay, I just wanted to see if... So, theoretically, I guess this card could be changed, this card could theoretically allow switching conditions. It could change the opcode when we switch from equals to not equal. Okay, maybe I will do that, actually. I guess it would be convenient to be able to switch these equals for not equals. Okay, let me show you the crash. I can drag this, I can move it a little bit, but when I move it just a little bit more, when it causes the condition to change, yeah, there is a crash, bad function call. It should be super easy to fix. I mean, a dump fix would be easy. We are going to fix it in a more interesting way. So this is one idea. I think this is fairly important, so we should not have crashes. Let's do that. Then we have those text boxes on some cards which should not have text boxes. Like here. We have jump offset, right? But this jump offset, it shouldn't be editable. It feels automatically based on how we connect this connection. So, to remove the widget. I think I mentioned this long time ago. I also think it's fairly important. Let's do this. Then better card twisting. So in our instruction library widget, we have a very annoying animation. So when I move the mouse, it causes this twist, which then untwists whenever I do this. And when it's slightly twisted, when I press my mouse, it causes the twist to reverse, which is annoying. I don't want this. So I would like to change this behavior of this deck. I don't want it to twist like that. I think this can be done by changing so when we are coming up with angles in this card helix, we're using the exponential function to find the angles so that they decay to 0, like when we reach the deck. But I think we could play with the exponent of this exponential function, and that could give us differently bent helixes. So yeah, we'll just play with it a little bit. Then we have a bug with connections. So when we have a connection, just any connection really, and only a part of this connection is displayed on screen, like now, it causes our texture remapping code to just go crazy. It remaps the connection simply to a wrong position. So there will be some debugging to fix that. If we have time today, we'll also try to fix this. Then there is some slowness I noticed when I had a lot of cards, but I think it might have been accidental. Yeah, so it doesn't seem to happen now. I have quite a bit of cards on screen, but when I move this, it's still animating. Okay, now it's slowed down, or not? Anyway, I think we could give more hints to the renderer about which widgets to re-render. For example, if a card is being animated, like very fast, I think we could give a hint to the renderer saying that, hey, this card is going to, like this widget is going to be animated anyway on the next frame, so maybe don't spend precious computation on re-rendering this surface, just reuse the current surface. So yeah, that's one thing. And yeah, we could just improve the renderer code. Our renderer, I actually am thinking that we found a really nice technique for rendering those widgets. It's the fact that it takes really long time to do all of this drawing, and the fact that we can reuse, broken textures like this one, and still have the environment working fast. It just feels so nice. The responsiveness. But okay, the issue, it seems to be gone, so maybe I will remove this. 2 more points for today. So I started taking a look at logo. So I asked the Civit AI generator to propose some images, and one of them looks like that. I really like this logo. First of all, it uses the typographic, the font that I like a lot. I use it a lot in Automat's material. The font is called Belanosima, and the AI just happened to use it, so it has a nice taste. I like that. And I like the rich ornamentations. I think they signal this value that programming doesn't have to be coding, it doesn't have to be cold and technical. It can be richly ornamented, decorated. So this is fun. It's just a sketch, right? This is not production quality logo, so we have to convert it into something better. I started looking at different techniques in Inkscape that could be used to achieve the, for example, metal effect. I think we'll get there. I'm just slowly playing with this idea now. Yeah. Like this T, I could probably replace it with this one. Something like that. Anyway, I need to watch some tutorials how to use Inkscape before I achieve the effect I want. So I will do this offline. And I will watch tutorials offline. We can work on logo on stream. Okay, so that's the logo. There was one more thing. So I got my hands on a toy for making bubbles yesterday. So, Bubble Many. So I noticed 3 things that we could have in Automat. First of all, bubbles, when they form, they wobble because the water is still kind of heavy compared to the surface tension, so freshly formed bubble wobbles strongly a lot. So we can reproduce this effect in our bubble menu.
TP Chica says,
Morning.
Hey. Okay, there was this initial wobble. The next point is that when bubble forms, it doesn't really grow in a sense that it doesn't scale from like infinitely small bubble to a very large bubble. If you want to have a large bubble, you need to start with a large, flat film of water, and then when you blow it, it starts to form a sphere. So the initial animation that we use for bubble, where we just scale it from 0 to full bubble size, it's now that I've seen some actual bubbles being formed, it feels unnatural. So we will make the bubble appear by starting with a flat film and then increasing the curvature of the surface.
I had discussion with my supervisor about old C, API. Both of us had same opinions and arguments.
Yeah. What API was that? We can see if I have the same opinions. GDI, this is the Windows Drawing API, right? I remember I used it, but so long that I don't remember anything interesting about this. I remember it was bitmap based mostly. Or is it different GDI, not WinGDI?
Graphic device interface.
Sorry, this is C++? What? Okay. This is either not C++ or it's some insane macro.
So basically outside window, anyone who supports CP ophically either does jank job at it, just namespace, wraps the functions.
I think this some parts of this, I think they have to be used to draw. I remember this. I think we are doing this even in Automat. I'm not super sure. I just think we do this get DC, release DC. Oh well. You know, when I read just the list of contents of GDI, it looks kind of like Skia. We get paths, we can clip stuff, use fonts and text, lines, curves. This is kind of Skia. This is Skia from the 90s.
Have you looked at DX API? DirectX or Neural?
Oh. I used it, but again, that was like 20 years ago, so I don't remember anything. I try to avoid DirectX. Only because it's Windows exclusive. I heard good things about it though, in terms of usability.
Just take a look at Triangle example and compare it to Vulkan.
Yeah, even compared to OpenGL, I heard DirectX is just better designed.
Like who stole from who? I like simple APIs. D3D compile from file. Yep. Okay, the initialization is... I wouldn't say it's similar to Vulkan. It doesn't have the same amount of suffering in it. It's just you just call a function. You don't have to first load the DLL with this function manually and then find the function reference and then check if the function is supported. This is not like Vulkan at all. Just iterating over graphics adapters to grab one, that's nothing. Okay, here is the actual triangle code. Okay, we have pipelines. Okay, it is similar. It is. Oh. No idea what's that. I mean, no idea what's that. TV? Their target view. Okay, it has some terminology that I'm not familiar with. Like this. Yeah, it's very similar to Vulkan in many ways. Like I said, there is no... There is no low level, you don't have to load functions manually, you don't have to check if stuff is supported. It's like...
It's very straightforward, the code, DirectX code. Okay, bubble. There was one thing about the bubble I wanted to mention. So we want to add initial wobble. We want to change the opening animation and then disappearance. We want to make the bubble disappear by exploding into tiny particles. So the mist that appears after bubble explodes, it looks very nice, especially on wind. No, this small explosion, which usually kind of is directional, and the mist is kind of blown in some direction. We can even connect this direction into option, which was selected by the user. But okay, I don't know if we will get there. I will put the priority C. We may do this. This is just visual improvement, right? Same here. I would say this is probably more important. So this is roughly the priority for today. Okay, let's first do the condition code fix. I think it may be actually quite involved. I will see. So, fixed condition. This is what we are looking for. We want to find all of the instructions which have a fixed condition. So this is loop equal, loop equal and loop not equal. And that's it. Those are all. Okay. So okay, I'm assigning an empty setter so that it doesn't crash, and if I have no idea if this is going to work, but we'll grab the instruction if and that should allow us to switch the condition from equal to not equal and vice versa. Although when the condition is wrong, we'll just output this log message. So let's see. Whoa! I mean, kind of worked. Equals, equals. Okay, it says we cannot change. It did change something.
Oh no, Google went all out on me.
URL.
Oh. Yep. So to credit Vulkan, I think at least most people who use Vulkan keep repeating that Vulkan is not meant for developers directly. It's for framework designers. Yeah. 5 years ago, this is still valid, this is still going to be valid for a long time, and it's going to be even worse. I think new Vulkan extensions are only chopping Peppa into smaller and smaller pieces. And as you know, as the GPUs also change their supported extension sets, some parts of this puzzle get out of date. I mean, you can still use them, but they just don't quite match. Okay, I wonder what is happening. Why did we get this funny error? So when I started this,
By the time you finish with Vulcan, you assembled cow from ground beef.
so we have loop equal, it has equal sign here, and this is E1, the machine code. So when I grab it and try to change it, it says can't set. Okay, because I tried to set it to I don't know what. But anyway, okay, that failed. That's fine. Can't. But when I scroll to not equal, I will separate this. Okay, we did scroll to not equal. Something like that. Oh, I know, I see the issue. The getter, we have to change the getter. Okay, that will work. No issues. So instead of putting it here, let's put a weak reference. Okay, so if it's one of those two conditions, two types, okay, we will return just that. Look at that, now I can change the opcode by switching this scroll. I can't scroll outside of this range, just between those two. Nice. Okay, another thing I wanted to change was the experience of scrolling too far. Yeah, when I scroll too far, I don't want this to jump like that. I think the condition code widget needs to know the list of possible values. It seems I am using this last valid condition to wrap around. I'm also thinking about ways of making this widget slightly more generic, because I think it would be usable in other situations where we have just a couple options to switch through. Okay, I am going to change this thing significantly. So first of all, I am going to call this knob widget, and I will try to remove all references to condition codes. Let's call this enum knob. In terms of those values, I am going to use integers. for getters and setters. I still don't know what to do with wave. A lot of this is very generic already, so I don't have to, I think, worry too much. Only this symbol and background are potentially problematic. I think large part of those things could be extracted out. Like this could be a static function, just like that. Okay, I think our enum knob widget, when it's created, it should probably be initialized with number of possible values. This looks okay. Okay, now I need to find all instances of this and change this to N options. Okay, now it's used in just one place. We do have plenty of fairly unique stuff here. Like this draw condition code background, draw condition code symbol. Okay, so in addition to this enum knob widget, we'll create a dedicated Okay, the default implementation is going to do exactly this. And for now I'm just going to ignore the cont code. This is going to be overridden by the other class. So let's override it. I think we'll just keep it there. It's fine. Okay. So when we create this widget, yep, we don't need that. I also think getters and setters could be moved into those two classes. I will do this in a moment. Let's see if this works. And also water level should probably be moved. It's not relevant to this loop condition. Okay, I can scroll through this. The background is obviously wrong, but we can fix this.
Does GitHub use GitHub to develop GitHub? And can GitHub just reverse GitHub when there is bad commit push to GitHub deploy repo?
This is actually a big problem of DNS systems. When DNS server gets down, it's kind of hard to connect to it. Those things happened. Exactly the failure scenario that you're describing. Okay, maybe not for GitHub. I don't know for GitHub, but I know that Facebook had an outage like this one. Somebody literally had to come to physically to the servers to fix them. This water animation, I need to remove it.
2021 meta incident.
Yeah. those things, they are related to the water simulation, so I will take them out. And put them in this class. And all of the places which actually crash now will be also moved around. Okay. So this is the water animation. It's just going to be empty. I also need to call this draw over class. Sweet. Okay, those getter and setters. So instead of getters and setters, I will put in this class same state that we have here. Instead of getter and setter, we will now have virtual functions, which will be more efficient actually. we'll have something similar here. Except the implementation is going to be different. Yep. weird. Why are we logging this message? Oh, okay, it's possible that we want to change back to the same value, so nothing should really happen now. Okay. Now we're not logging any messages. Okay, that was the first point on our to-do list today. I mean, I said we will freeze those conditions, but actually changing them is more useful. Because I could just have two separate cards that would have immutable condition, but I can also have this and be able to switch them. Okay, and that was everything that we wanted to do in the knob widget. Now we are fixing bugs. This is the typical Friday stream. So the immediate editor, let's start with that one. This editor is initialized somewhere here. I should probably have one more or fixed condition instructions. Okay, im widget. This is the one which is causing issues. So each of our instruction implements an interface called buffer. So some instructions essentially have internal data that can be modified, like jumps. Jumps have offsets. This buffer size, maybe we could make it so that jumps will return buffer size 0. Buffer visit. Okay, this operand doesn't tell us whether it's a jump or not. We also don't see any information about operand here. Okay, but we have this function, immediate size. This is auto-generated function, and apparently our jumps contain non-empty immediate sizes. Not equal, yeah. Okay, let's go to lvm-asm.py. This is the file which generates this. Okay, so if we have relative, we can just say this is 0. It's also 0. I wonder if we have any of those. Anyway, that should get rid of the widgets for jumps. Fairly simple change. Yep. And there's still work. Cool.
Wojciech Krawczyk says,
Hello, Fast Like, and I'm back to work in 1 week, defending my mastery.
Hey, good luck. Okay, this is done. And the next is the texture remapping for connections. Okay, I think this is on Joe. I will get rid of those cards. We have plenty of objects in Automat. Way too many objects. I'm interested in debugging connections right now, so we don't need them. Goodbye. A nice thing is that when I do this scrolling, I've changed it so that when I touch this thing, it disables caching to textures, so the latency is lower scrolling this. But whenever I release the mouse button, we introduce intermediate texture again. So the rendering time, for example, for this instruction card, you can see now it's low, but when I start playing with it, it jumps to 6 milliseconds. But now it's like 2 or less than 1. It's weird that it includes this time. So recently in some of the updates, Skia introduced better methods for measuring the rendering time, so we will probably use them soon. Not yet. Okay, we have our instruction. I will save the state. Okay, we have our small test case with a tiny loop. And we can see when the issue happens. When I zoom in, okay. So the issue doesn't happen when I have a full object rendered into a texture. I have some checks that measure the size of this texture, and if it's small enough, we just render the whole object to texture anyway. But when it's too large, for example, when I zoom in, we only render a part of this object. Like now. But it seems, even though we are rendering only part of the object, we are still stretching the texture as if it was rendering, as if it was containing the whole picture. This definitely happens here. It's because we did change some things. Small shader. I don't think we'll have to change anything in the shader. We probably have to pass different parameters. This rectangle doesn't matter. Surface is good. This could be wrong. I think those two parameters could be wrong. Because it seems like this is the whole rectangle, and it clearly says about surface origin and surface size. I think I need to take one of those matrices, invert it, and map one of those bounds through it. And that should give me correct draw texture bounds. Let's see if this helps. I should put more comments on those variables. It's becoming difficult for me to work with this code. Okay, now it's totally gone. Are you here? Yeah, it's super scaling. Ah, I need to pass a pointer. That makes sense. And that should have a no discard, this function. Okay, that was easy to fix, apparently. Sweet. I could also try this on debug mode, because debug mode is much slower, so we should see more artifacts here. Okay, so those arrows that we can see, they show the displacement of anchors. So when we render this connection, we render it at a different position on screen, and then we composite it elsewhere on screen by just shifting the original texture around. And see that even though it's slow, the user interface is very responsive still. I still do this kind of stuff. FPS is not that bad really, at the top level at least. One thing I don't like is that we still have something like 1 frame of delay. I don't mean that the connection is kind of rendering like stop motion animation, because we are twisting the stop motion animation to stick to mouse, and we still get some lag. If you look at the bullseye very carefully, you can see that it moves relative to the, just a little bit, but it moves relative to the connection. And the bullseye is the best case scenario, essentially. So when we draw the bullseye, we take the current mouse position and we just draw it exactly at the mouse position. So we should be faster. Not much. 1 frame. We are losing 1 frame. We will fix it. Just not right now. Oh, and debug mode is super slow. Okay. Let's remove the log lines. Actually, those draw texture bounds. Okay. Okay, next is better card twisting on hover. This will be this file. Let's fold everything. Okay, so we have this wobble thing, which supposedly is causing the animation. Let's see. Small rename. Next we have this wobble, which this is a very small value. It goes to -1. Where do we use it? Okay, it looks like we are using this within tick mostly. Okay, I am not using exponential function, I am using this cosine. We'll change this to 1. I still don't want what I want to do with this. I know I have to pass this variable to this function, and I need to do something here. Okay. Now the animation, the wiggle animation should be gone, but somehow add it back. This tiny function is the key. Okay, so we are going from I0 to I minus 90. And the shape of this curve is dictated by cosine interpolate. Okay. Let's draw what we want. So we want to get a function that gives us a value from 0 to minus 90. And that goes like this. So this is I. This is I when it's equal to these visible instructions. Let's call this N from 0. And what I want to do is I want the tangent of this function to be flat at the end. And that's it. That's the only requirement. And it should be monotonic so that all cards are visible. I could also have a polynomial here. I could just find a polynomial that goes through those 2 points. It will have slightly different curvature, so I think this curvature could we could twin between cosine curvature, like circle curvature, and the other one. I could also do cosine squared. I want to see how it looks. This is just an alternative kind of curve. This is how it looks. I think that should give the same result, roughly. Okay. Okay, the swabble animation is slightly too fast, but I think it looks good. We just have to slow it down. Nice. I like that. Maybe I will make it slightly less pronounced. Here's another version with a linear variant. So instead of turning the cards more, we will turn them kind of more linearly. Okay, this is actually even nicer. I don't think we need comments here. Okay, then we have some bubble menu improvements, which honestly I feel like they could be distraction right now. Let me see. We're still trying to create a macro for Skyrim. Let's see how it would work. Let's grab this alchemy. Okay, I wanted to change this. Instead of this, I will like to have loop equal. And same here. Change those connections. And also those. Actually wonder maybe register icons also should have this sort of knob widget, because the registers should be switchable here. Let's go back to our to-do page. Here, simulating waves, we don't need this. Let's delete this. Okay, this is done. We we did design nice conditions. This is complete. Complete. We even save those conditions now. So we can display registers as strings, right? This works. But this mode should be persistent. So this is done, this is still to do. Okay, persistence, this is what we need. This value here, this mode, should not be changed. Okay, I'm slowly remembering how this works. So we are capturing the stuff, which is currently on screen, stuff to buy. If it's creep cluster, then we buy it. This is the buy timeline. Or if it's giant toad, we also buy it. If it's wheat, then we should end. This should be the reset timeline. So we exit the vendor's shop, attack, quick save attack, reload. And here we should just scroll one down. We press one down. Wait a moment and repeat. To make this nice, I think after we finish with this, actually each of those is important. I think timeline editor is probably the most important, but notes and comments are also kind of key. We need to be able to type comments on Automat, otherwise those macros are hard to read. resistance. Let's add the resistance. Timeline assembler. This is an instruction. It's one of the operands. So the operand can be edited using a couple different modes. Like positive, integer, negative, like signed, unsigned, hexadecimal, and Unicode. I don't think there is a way in JSON to distinguish signed and unsigned types when they are just positive. I think when we serialize this, if it is a string, we should serialize it as string. I am sure of that. So does JSON support hexadecimal? Oh, this would allow us to distinguish from signed and unsigned. Let's see if this will work. Can I put plus here? Nope. Actually, I can do this. Buffer read. we can use null, we can't use undefined. Interesting. Okay, now when we deserialize, okay, so after we actually run this already, change this to text, or let's use different values everywhere. This will be hex, this will be signed. Let's close it. Okay, we didn't save the operand. Type. They all have been serialized using the same mode. Oh, I know why. Makes sense, we didn't recompile it. Okay, immediate mode text, properly saved. Immediate mode hexadecimal, properly saved. Signed, saved properly. Sweet. Now the deserialize logic. If we have unsigned value, we need to add one extra field to the deserializer. Okay, the other case is if immediate type is text. So we have to, I think, pad the value to 8 bytes. That should load all of our data. Hey, we have text. Unfortunately, it's text, and unsigned. It shouldn't be like that. That should be hex. It is kind of strange. Sweet. This is malformed. It's reversed. Okay, it was serialized in wrong order. It should be serialized as a number. I should switch to std format, probably. Anyway. It should be better now, but when deserializing, I still have this issue.
CP Chica says,
And a CD format is copied from FMTlib.
Yeah, maybe I actually heard the FMTlib has some nicer features, so maybe that one would be better. Actually, it's good that it's showing hex, but why is it showing this icon here? It has the correct value, it's rendered properly. What was that? Okay, this works, definitely, but then it's clearly overwritten by something. When I click once, it changes to text. And what will happen if I close this now? Is this going to be saved as text or something else? It says hexadecimal and it has correct value. So why does it show wrong icon? How do we pick the icon? Okay, I know why. It's because we are reading these only once. Okay, now I can save this. We should have 3 text values saved. Okay. Cool. I like the smaller instructions. Okay, so let's think about the plan for next week. Bubble many improvements. I will copy this over to the roadmap. Oh, by the way, reflecting nearby objects in the bubble, I found a way to do this in Skia. It is possible. Okay, each of those is fairly independent. Small tasks, maybe if we have, like, when we're done with Skyrim, maybe we'll implement those nice visual upgrades. Ooh, so I can close that. I think this will almost work now. We only need a better way to edit timelines. So I think next week we'll get back to doing macros in Skyrim. Editing this field, this is what we need to work on now. I think that when this is scaled sufficiently large, we could show the controls. Maybe we can use this zoom to show the controls. Because the goal here is to have this timeline be usable at the default zoom level. So without zooming in like that, I mean, it's obviously more convenient to edit like that, but I think it should be usable without this zooming thingy. So, for instance, when we scroll to the start or the end, maybe we could show some handles here for grabbing this point here and resizing the length of the timeline. And those segments, should we use radial menu for something? So we have this black space here. It just begs to put some widget here. And it's kind of nice because when we are looking at the end of the timeline, it's kind of good that this button will be hidden. It's very far away. Yeah, manipulation handles should appear dynamically. So when a segment gets long enough, we could show a button here where dragging this button would. But there are so many things to consider, like the snapping. Do we want snapping to work? Let me record a simple macro. Okay, so each of those strips, each of them has the same length. So I think we could put the buttons for changing the width of the whole thing, of trimming the whole thing, maybe at the bottom here. Should have enough space around. And this black area will be used for editing the timeline. Yes, because trimming is very convenient. I keep making this mistake where I create too long timelines. We could always enable and disable snapping in the radial menu. So the type of actions that we would like. So one thing is that when we have this on-off sequence, would be to insert a block, insert a button press, resize, and press sequence. So Then there is this operation of inserting a new button press where we shift everything around. Kind of like cutting them and inserting something in the middle. And the same for inserting empty sections. So you know what, I will think of this offline. Today we managed to finish the stuff that we wanted to do with assembly, at least the immediate things that we wanted to do. There are still plenty of things that we can improve here. But this is good enough for our Skyrim macro now. Now the timeline is the main limiting factor. So we'll work on that next. Okay then. See you next week. Bye bye.